Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to From Under the Influence. I'm Marijuana Man, and it's Wednesday here in Vancouver. Let me just get this joint figured out. Gotta be smoking some weed if we're going to be from under the influence. Yeah, welcome to another Zoom episode here during the pandemic, under lockdown. So, but we're still lucky enough to be able to Zoom Mr. Cookie into the show too. Good day, Mr. Cookie.
Hey everyone out there, and during the Christmas lockdown, as we like to call it.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend in the Netherlands the other day, and they just went into a lockdown. I don't know if it was last night or the night before, but now they're in lockdown until January 19th or something like that, 16th or 19th.
Wow. And they probably have like a 13-letter word for it too, in Dutch. no one else can pronounce.
Locking down and...
Apparently there's a town in Holland. No one will tell you the name of it. They'll only show it to you on a map. And they said that it was used during the Second World War to determine if you're a spy, if you could pronounce the name of this town.
Seems like a Dutch thing.
Yeah. Lots of that going on. They had I saw many signs there, like a billboard or a sign on the side of the building that had easily 13-letter words. There's no way you could read it as you drove by.
Well, if you knew the language, I guess you could, but yeah.
Yeah. So, mentioning Amsterdam, this is where I got this hat from. Bought it many years ago on the street. They had souvenir shops all over the place. And racks of hats on the street, and this was one of them. They didn't mind having marijuana paraphernalia just out on the street, which I marveled at as well.
Yeah, highly promoted.
The leaf that there is not a bad symbol.
So it's only a bad symbol at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
I have they can't be showing no marijuana leaves at the coffee shop or on their advertising. And I was like, what? But there's marijuana leaves everywhere. Like you go by the souvenir shop and then there's like, 1,000 marijuana hats or whatever, socks, underwear, shirts.
Yeah, everything.
But they
and you go to the flower market. There's lots of marijuana themed things you can buy at the flower market.
The Blumengrat, yeah.
So yeah, interesting. But I had this hat all these years. I like to wear it in the winter. Don't get too much winter here. Today, I don't know, it's a balmy 9.5 degrees out there.
Oh, I'd kill for a balmy 9-point thing. I think it's like minus 16 or something right now. Let's check.
Well, with the wind chill factor though, it's 9.
8. It's about 8.5. Brr, yeah. We're looking at
minus 14. Holy moly.
And for all you Americans, that's real cold.
Yeah. We'd be on the Celsius chart.
Yeah. I have one friend in Colorado. He keeps it in the Celsius or the Fahrenheit like we do or whatever. Someone I was like, oh, -1 today. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's freaking cold. No, can't relate to -14. That's for sure. Don't like it.
Well, I'll tell you, you can't make bubble hash outside in -14. Shit just be freezing up.
I can actually see the chat.
Oh, yeah. Sudbury Saturday Night, he says, like Stompin' Tom. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Learned it in grade 1 and sang it every day until I graduated.
Is that right? Popular song.
Yeah.
Yeah, good old Stompin' Tom. He wrote some classics for sure about Canada.
Yeah, he loved that place.
2 joints is in the house. 420 Wild Dragon. Who's that? Came up. Oh no. Let's see.
I don't know.
Hello, Scotland. Yeah, it's a wondrous thing, this internetery, how you can reach around the world. And must be fairly late in Scotland, though, isn't it? Or
Dancing
early?
Midnight or whatever. Better fire up one of these marijuana joints. I haven't even smoked up since the whole episode started.
Huh, well, maybe we should have kept you off the camera until you did. Well, I'm smoking a combo joint here. What do we roll in there?
This is a strand called Bluefin Tuna.
A strand. It used to be called pink fin tuna, but no, that was last week.
Yeah, it was controversial. No, that was the Corel Kush. That was the pink Kush.
I have a combo of Zamdelica and what? White Castle. And I crushed up a big chunk of shatter and put it in there.
Harold and Kumar style, eh? White Castle.
Make my own moon rockets. Without the oil. Coffee machine crying out. Pierre loves White Castle. Me too. It's a pretty nice strain. But that's, I still add the shatter. Might as well get stoned.
Up.
So I'm lucky enough to get all this lovely smokables at 420 Stalk Market. Down here in Kitsilano at 3175 West Broadway, actually. They're lovely people fighting a good fight, not only to have cannabis, but to distribute that on unceded territory by indigenous people who should get to make their own rules on their land and not be governed by these stupid rules and regulations around cannabis. So come on down. They're open 12 till 8 o'clock every day. You get all your smoking Christmas needs if you're in the hood. And thanks to them.
My weed's actually from the cannabis dispensary on Thurlow Street. I
Nice.
believe they're open for carry away. I don't know how it's all working.
Yeah, it's
They're definitely open for mail order, but I'm pretty sure they're open for curbside and takeaway, maybe. Ooh.
King Kong. I also have some wedding crashers here too, but it's a little too moist. I'm letting it dry out to smoke it. Grinds, it disappears in my grinder. You put a big bud in there and then nothing comes out. So it's stuck in there in big clumps or whatever.
It's like shredded against the side. I know mine was doing that too with some stuff we had this summer. I was like, I opened the grinder and there's like no weed in the bottom. I'm like, really? Or very like not, hardly a joint's worth when I put like a nice fat joint in there. I'm just like.
So I looked up wedding crashers to see what it is. And I don't know, I haven't looked all that close, but I'm pretty sure it contains every hybrid ever made. Like all of them. It's got everything in it through one line or another. So I figure can't go wrong smoking that. Gonna probably
It's like
enjoy it.
original salad joint.
Yeah. Like if you look it up on seedfinder.eu that I use, it'll show you the entire lineage of the strain and all of the combinations of all of the strains. And it goes, as they all do, right back to skunk number one, right, to the very first hybrids, in through the northern lights and, on and on it goes, through all of the cookies and the aliens and the, oh geez.
Cookies.
Yeah. So interesting how it's going. That, of course, one would expect that to be a pretty good hybrid. With all that in it, how could you go wrong?
Yeah, it's like if you just mixed everything, you're like, it has to be good.
Yeah, it's like the Dr. Pepper of marijuana.
A bunch of good strains, and then just boom.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what has gone on in the seed world for a very long time. It's hybrid upon hybrid of new hybrid with old hybrid and new hybrid with new hybrid. And it's just carried on from the first hybrids.
And then the first hybrid renamed.
Yeah, brought back and renamed.
Like, oh, we got this awesome strain. It's whatever the name is, Jack Blaster. You're like, oh, what is it? They're like, well, it's Shishkaberry and Afghani or whatever. You're like, oh, two good strains.
Yeah, nothing new about it, really.
Like, so you just bred them together and called it a new name?
Well, they did that not too long ago with, I don't know, that strain that swept Spain. Everybody grew it. I can't remember what it was now.
Gelato or whatever? No.
No. Well, like Mr. Nice or I think Shanti Baba was in on the creation of this hybrid. What the fuck?
Canatonic?
Mass something. Oh, I was so close. Critical mass.
Critical mass.
Now, as I believe, critical mass is a skunk Afghani cross.
I think so as well.
which might have came out of the same fucking bucket they had when Neville first created it. That was one of the very first hybrids he ever made. And so you go, wow, critical mass. So go right back to skunk, Afghan.
Yeah, I remember that. Sensi Seeds had it. Or, yeah, Dutch Passion? No, Sensi Seeds. Critical mass. It was always, like, sounded impressive. Reminded us of, like, a church weed or something, but just because of mass.
Yeah. So, playing into the hands of huge yields and on, right, with the same genetics as we've always used. So it'd be nice if somebody along the line saw the merit in reintroducing all this stuff. Now, maybe we should talk about this off camera. I have an idea. But at any rate, there's much cannabis to be celebrated over the years. What the fuck? Doesn't stop at cookies or OG Kush. So
the original cookies, when I first seen it, I guess I seen it in Amsterdam for one of the cup entries one year, and so I went and like seeked it out because it was the hype, and you know my name's Cookie, so I thought that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And so I went to like the Fire Coffee Shop, the Funky Monkey. It was like, you know, out of the way. Got there and everything was like, right on. Let me see the fucking cookies. And they showed it to me and I smelled it and I was like, it smells like fucking shishkaberry and fucking Durban poison. And I was like, I looked it up or whatever, and I think it was like Durban and something. And I was just like, really? It's like two strains I'm not really so big on, you know? Like, I'm not like, eh. I ended up saying, like, no, give me a couple grams of Amnesia Haze because, you know, when in Amsterdam, of course.
Yeah. Smoke Amnesia Haze.
Yeah.
Well, cookies are supposed to be OG times Durban.
That's what it was, yeah. But I was like, man, it was not, you know, super. But it did have that distinct Durban smell to it. I was like, for sure when I read it, and I was like, yeah, that was that licoricey Durban. But
no one would ever know if the OG part of it was real, or which one, or where it was from. There's so many of them. Like there's like, I don't know, half a dozen or more hybrids of the OG strain.
True.
Everywhere. Right. You go out, it's just OG from that garden.
Growing different garden.
It's no different than grown in fucking Kentucky, for God's sake. It was grown indoor.
Yeah, same strain, different fucking place.
Yeah. But outdoor now, that would create a nuance of that neck of the woods. But indoor, the nuance is created by individuals doing it a certain way. So what the big news in the news is that Aphria and Tilray have become one.
They did a collab. They're teaming up now to take over the market.
Yeah. So, well, I don't get it, really. When you think about it, you go, what could be fucking worse here? The two biggest, like Coke and Pepsi of the cannabis industry here, are joining forces.
Well, no, they'd be more like not President's Choice.
Well, yeah.
Maybe like Volt.
That was a little too prestigious.
Yeah. PC Cola and but not the President's Choice one, just
Yeah,
PC
the
Cola.
cheaper one than that.
And yeah, the other guys would be Volt or whatever it is.
So yeah, I don't get it. This is business, I guess, or how they thwart people out of their money. Right? That's what they're doing their best to achieve here, is how to make as much fucking money or not lose or what. It has to do with money. So, not one article that I read about their merger ever talked about the cannabis, ever. Wasn't even brought up.
Yeah, they didn't even mention one plant or one square footage, just a
No.
company merger.
Or that they were known for having sold good marijuana, or that they were known for having made any money other than massive losses that they reported quarterly.
So like one company's lost less than the other, so that other company that lost less, they're the higher company.
Yeah, they're the top two losers. So I don't get it. It all has to do with the United States, Mark. They've combined their forces to go there to seek their fortunes. But hopefully the investors will go, well, how'd you do in Canada?
They'll be like, oh, well, the market's not comparable to that. No, no answer. They'll just like.
So they'll just bilk people out of their money like they did here. And a lot of that went on, apparently. Mark Messier was in the news today, wincing that he got stung for $500,000. $500,000 he bought stocks in this cannabis company, who managed to, at the time, somehow guarantee that he would not lose money. And now they're gone.
Sounds like someone spouting some large packages of shitty weed, being like, "Don't worry, it's good, bro. You're gonna make money off this. How could you not make money?"
Yeah. So I don't know. He's suing them apparently.
That's yeah, especially if they were telling you, "Oh, guaranteed," or because like, especially like in that industry, I know now it's like business, but it's also business and like slime balls, or most business people are slime balls, I guess. So it's like working with the shitty part of the marijuana industry too, because they're all fucking, money hungry fucking guys that'll just tell you whatever. Like, they're yes men until after they have your money, and then it's like, oh, well, we don't know what happened there. Bad investment, bad turn.
Yeah. Oh no, they. I don't know. They just fail somehow on what they're doing. They overestimated everything, really, in their sales pitch to whoever was to invest. Right? They've overestimated everything.
I first heard some of the stories of these guys. It reminded me a lot of like the old school guys that used to like set up the grows. And they'd be like, okay, we'll set up this guy with the grow, and you just, grow the weed and they come and harvest it or whatever, however that works. And then they go and like, Rick has shitty weed the first time, or they go halfway through and it's not where it should be. And they're like, what's going on here? Oh, well, had some problems there. Bad water, bad hydro. Jimmy didn't set off the timers. Fucking blah, blah, blah. Like every fucking story you hear. Don't worry, the next crop will be better, is the next thing you hear, And then it's like,
yeah.
And all these crops growing, they take time, like, you know what I mean? And especially, I don't know, in the legal market, they probably take even longer than the black market, because the black market was more about like get it in and out as fast as you can. But the legal market's more like, let's stretch this out. It's an extra couple months of work here. Like,
well, they've also gained so much square footage that it's producing too much marijuana. At the end of the day, they got way too much weed. And it's sitting in warehouses. Not
Well,
getting any better.
if it was like the highest of endest of weed, it wouldn't be sitting in that warehouse. They'd be selling it all. Because someone would come along and be like, wow, so and so's weed is actually fucking real good every single time. And, you know, that could resonate a bit. You know what I mean? That's how weed sells. Like
Oh,
if someone came and told me, like one of my smoker buddies there, like that we smoke all the time and knows about weed, came and told me, wow, so and so came over with some legal weed from, you know, this company, and we tried it out, and wow, it was fucking real good. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
He's like, look, I went and bought some, you know, or whatever. Like, then it might be okay, but that's how it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And oh wow, it was a reasonable price. You know, like I know the legal stuff's never a reasonable price, but yeah.
No. But yeah, you certainly care to have the best weed. Now, what the fuck, Aurora? Let me just have a look here. They're what they call Aurora's flagship Sky marijuana facility in Edmonton lays off 200 people and idles most of that flagship. So they built the biggest fucking greenhouse with all the money that they raised and never used it, and now they're just closing it. In Edmonton, a greenhouse in fucking Edmonton.
Where it's the coldest in the winter.
Yeah.
It's even colder than here. Like, you know, like it'd be better to have one here. Fuck, like shit.
Yeah. So you go, well, this is how Mark Messier lost his fucking wallet.
Yeah, you probably fucking paid for that whole greenhouse, and then they were like, "No, we'll just close her down."
Well,
I know I wish I was in like I don't know, some sort of business that needed a greenhouse, like a vegetable or something, you know, like that. Someone's gonna buy that up and be like, "Holy shit, this is sophisticated," you know, compared to like growing my cucumbers. You know, you go into one of these facilities and you're just like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And they adapt to like the marijuana grows to the facilities. Or to the big vegetable, or to the marijuana garden, adapted to vegetable gardening again.
yeah. What do they have to say here?
So, like, the market was just not buying our marijuana for some reason, and we lost money constantly, so we had to shut her down.
Yeah. This was just weeks after they stopped operation in Medicine Hat. They're fading fast. See, it's fairly obvious to me that the money that they raised from the investors went and was spent wildly and foolishly into things that there's no chance you were ever going to use. Never took a shot at the marketplace. They just took a shot at how many football fields they had.
Under glass.
That was more important, was the growing surface than if anything was even to be grown.
Yeah, I think that's stock market talk, you know, like you get the fucking square footage. You're like, we got the square footage. How can we not grow marijuana? And they're like, here you go, making it rain cash. And
Yeah.
now they're like, oh, we'll just shut it down. We didn't plant marijuana there, but not really enough money in the marijuana selling to pay for this whole beast that we built.
I don't know what they're telling the investors or why they're not crying louder than they are. There's a lot of money being lost here in the cannabis sector. Some people are getting it. All these CEOs and everybody who's involved, they're all taking their cut, getting out.
The early pension, they're like, oh, we got to get out of here. It's not looking the best.
Let me just check this story that I was looking at.
Shit burns pretty good, pretty white, pretty nice. Where's the camera on this thing?
Congo.
In 2020, yeah, I've tried the Congo. And I think I even had a little bit of Seedsman's Haze, which is one of my faves.
Yeah, might have had some of that and some Angola. Oh, some mighty good marijuanas. I kind of like it all, really. I don't know. It all has its own.
I got that right there, my last joint of the Congolese for my birthday.
Wow.
See in there.
I can't keep it that long. Problem is, I always know where I've hidden it. Oh, well, could smoke that Congo.
True, it's true. I'm like, no, I'll just save it.
But they talk about the industry-wide supply glut. The supply-demand imbalance is as a result of years-long building spree by Canadian producers ahead of legalization that produce millions of square feet of unnecessary greenhouse capacity.
But they should just use it, like
What?
it has to be a way to make it pay for itself, even if you just like broke even.
Yeah.
Especially with the hash and different markets that they could be in now, like you got to produce a lot of plant material to get a lot of the fine hash. So those acreages would come in handy in that situation, and they could recoup their money, that way. Even though hash is going to be expensive, but whatever, we already know it is.
Yeah. Yeah, they I don't know what you're gonna do with greenhouses in fucking Edmonton and Medicine Hat, for God's sakes. Really. It would have been much better creating indoor space and doing it that way.
Well, yeah, and then like at the end of the day, like now, they could be like, "Oh, want to rent our office space that we're not using," as opposed to now we got these fucking greenhouses here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Aurora spent $150 million building the structure.
Like it's beautiful, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. It's fucking amazing, like horticultural genius going on there. But if you don't grow anything in it, it's really just a fucking big glass room.
Yeah. So, they estimated that it was going to cost 110 million and produce 100,000 kilos annually.
Holy fuck.
That was at the time when they were promoted.
See, they could have like 3,000 grams of fucking, or 30,000 grams of fucking like high-end water hash, fuck.
Yeah.
or get into the dry sift market, which, looking at the stuff that I've seen so far, you just tumble it for like 3 days, and then you collect that and put it in a container and sell it as dry sift, and then that's it.
Yeah. No, but evidently they don't know about any of this. So it's
That
unfortunate.
part I don't get either. Like, none of these guys know about like anything. Like, it's like none of the CEOs have ever been to like a grow room, whether it be legal or illegal, or understand like what happens, because I almost seen, like, when it first happened, I almost see all these fucking guys just tricking all the people for the first couple years, like, oh, the next one will be better, guys, don't worry, you'll sell it there, as if you can't sell that there, it's fucking fire. Yeah, just vacuum seal it, put it away, it's good for like fucking 5 years, bro.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're like 6 months later, they're looking at it going like, oh, it changed color a lot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the fledgling industry to not concern themselves so much or at all with the consumer. We're just a fucking number to them.
Yeah, that's
Who
how I
are?
feel bad for the investor guys like that, like some of the investor guys that maybe have money that really liked weed, they're like, shit, oh, I'll help out, fuck, right on, fine, they'll invest in the marijuana. And then they just get totally shafted. They're like, I don't really like marijuana anymore.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's would probably make it difficult to raise money these years in the cannabis sector, given how many people have lost the billions. They've all lost the billions that they were given, really, I think. Haven't they? Haven't they all lost the billions they've been given? So now they're back to fucking scaling it right down and doing it small and growing as the marketplace grows, as you win the marketplace, as opposed to pretending you already have and that you could possibly supply 100,000 kilos of cannabis yearly.
Yeah, like they'd have to have all of Edmonton working in that place or something. Like, come on now, like there's a whole bunch of other factors involved. Harvesting that fucking amount of weed, getting it to a package.
Huge amount of work for sure. the the reality of it, and keeping them all alive and healthy is the other 99% of the problem. So, and a lot of folklore around how you should grow marijuana as opposed to real science.
Like when they say, how do you grow corn or how do you grow tomatoes? They're like, oh, well, you take the tomatoes, you do this, you do that. What kind of tomato is it? That kind? Oh, do this.
Yeah. So, not many people had the opportunity, I don't think, to extrapolate that over, many football fields full of fucking marijuana. So,
Yeah,
interesting.
I'd like to see the fucking SOPs of all these places on growing and feeding and caring for the marijuana, like daily, weekly, monthly,
Yeah.
whatever, however they have it all mapped out, just to see like what the fucking shit they're telling people to do. Because I know like it can't be good. Some of it might be good, and then some of it's like not, or it's like people that work in a normal fucking like a black market grow that say that they did it, but really they didn't do it. They're like, oh yeah, we fucking sprayed her down there on Friday. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I go down there on like Sunday. You're like, I don't think it was sprayed down. Like,
Yeah. Well, as many shortcuts as one could find, given that at the end of the day, it's dollars and cents, not centsy. Dollars and cents.
Dollars and cents, yeah, dollars and cents.
So it's interesting how the fledgling industry now, what were they talking about here in British Columbia? How the lack of legal cannabis in British Columbia or in BC's access deserts is helping the illicit market. Retailers are saying, or the Retailers Association. There's already a Retailers Association.
Well, yeah, it made it so hard for people to open a shop fucking in British Columbia. That's why. It's not the people's fault. People want to open them. I'm sure there's like stacks of applications and people trying to open these stores, and they're just like, sorry, we got one every 10,000 kilometers. That's good enough now. Don't want to have a storm. Don't want to storm the neighborhood, you know?
Well, also evidence that idiot city councilors are making these decisions. Kind of lofty ability to decide if, in fact, this industry should even be allowed. So, this legal industry should even be allowed. Fuck you. I don't think city councilors should have the right to decide, or town council.
We want it in our city. Let's get at it here. Put it in our city council. Like, come on now. Next time we're not going to vote for you guys. Like, get after it.
Well, at this point in the game, you cannot open a store without the good graces of Health Canada, without permission. You must comply. So you cannot open a store without their permission. So why in the fuck should some city or town council go and further decide if, in fact, you should have a store? You're in total compliance with the legal scenario already. Fuck you. Just because they can, right? They say no. Because they don't get to do that any other time in their whole life.
Like, no.
But a whole bunch of places in British Columbia are just saying no, like fucking Whistler, West Vancouver, Richmond, Delta, Burnaby, Surrey, Pitt Meadows, everything outside of Vancouver, I guess. So it's fucking stupid. It's also a result of the constant stigmatization of cannabis for our whole lives, rearing its ugly head, right? City and town councilors can go, oh, you know, we just want to be cautious about the dangers, right? Fuck. It's hard to put up with, really. This overwhelming ability for the naysayers to cannabis to have something to lean upon, right?
Just tell us more.
So, a shop in compliance then needs to be in compliance with the city ordinances. How far you are from the sidewalk, whether or not you got a awning, that kind of thing. Like any other store does. Like any other store does. And be given an easy, cheap license to, it shouldn't even necessarily be different license than something else, but a license to sell cannabis. Regulated federal fucking $10 cannabis. That's all you need. Why should the citizens of Whistler or West Vancouver or Richmond or fucking any place not have the opportunity to have a legal substance?
Yeah, they have a million liquor stores there. Like, come on now.
It's just soaked in booze. No, they have the power. Municipalities have the power to refuse to sell cannabis within their borders.
Yeah, it's like the guys who wanted it legalized like a long time ago were all like, okay, we want it legalized, but we're going to wait till they don't allow smoking anywhere. So then we can say, no, you can't smoke it anywhere because you can't smoke the cigarettes anywhere, you know? And it's like, now we can legalize it because it's like, or else it'd be like bars or weed bars opening up everywhere, which there should be, you know what I mean? But like for smoking, but now no smoking. Like if this was like 15 years ago when the smoking was around heavy, shit, people would be all over it, you know? They'd just be like,
Yeah, they take advantage of we cannabis consumers by only doing half a job, really. They don't bother to look at cannabis as a substance unto itself. They merely do the easiest possible thing they can do, and that is to loop it in with tobacco, just like tobacco, because it looks like tobacco. It says smoke. It will treat it just like tobacco.
it says smoke.
Right? So that's all they've done, taken the easiest way out to treat it like something that it's not. So that's fucked. But they've done that a lot with cannabis, treated it any which way they wanted to if it suited their purpose of somehow restricting it. So interesting. So we'll see what continues to happen. But I don't know. Let's see if I can see more chat. Or...
A question from the chat there. A question from the chat. It's like they're having their own conversation in there. What, you guys are watching the show?
They probably are not. And that's kind of fun that the chat is doing its own thing. Because it's so difficult to pay attention. Because when you do look up at the chat, you guys are chatting about stuff that you don't know what it is.
Now I'm trying to follow along. I'm scrolling back. No, I don't have control.
So, interesting all the way around. So, Christmas, COVID, the COVID Christmas.
Christmas COVID special. I know. That's fucking different.
Well, if 'tis the season to not follow the rules, I would have to think this would be the time of year when people are going to gather in groups beyond the limit of their what they're told. You'd think Christmas. Come on.
Yes.
So we'll have to see how that all pans out. But I don't know what the fuck's going on, quite frankly. I have no clue what these people, if they're up to something or not, or what the fuck's real or not. I don't know anything.
Just like fun cancelers to me, you know, like, oh, cancel all fun. Okay, fuck them. They want to do what? No, let's not do that.
Well, once again, from the politician's point of view, it's the easiest thing to do. It's the point of least resistance is to have an outright ban. Right?
Then they can just say, oh, well, we banned that. They shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah, they're not going to have to then get into the details of how anything but a ban would work. Okay, who could go, who, what, how many, blah, blah. You're going to have to do work then. Somebody's going to have to figure out if you ban it. You don't got to do nothing. Simple as that. Now, I don't know how they choose what to ban, but it seems fairly arbitrary to me. But what can you do? You can complain about it. You can say it's fake. It's this, it's that. It doesn't fucking matter what you do or say. Quite honestly, like really, no change will come of me saying whatever I would have to say about it. So I see Health Canada too now is doing some study. They're asking for our input on, I don't know, it's the fucking weirdest thing. I'm pretty sure I read the questions. They're like questions that you don't tick a box, I guess. You go away and write your answer or something. It was not a quiz or a questionnaire that, but it's fucking weird. They made it so difficult and confusing that I didn't really look at it. But they're once again asking stakeholders to throw in their opinion about stuff. No, I don't know about that shit. One thing I've always found is that the things that we care about in cannabis, if we tell them that, they will figure out a way to not allow us to do that. So we shouldn't tell them. Don't tell them about that we really like cannabis and that it's good for us and all these things. Right? It's
Yeah,
fun.
like the mushrooms. I'm almost telling them like, don't bother legalizing them. Just leave it all illegal. Even though I know it's gonna help a lot of people, and you know the potential is really there, and it's there for a lot of things. But I'm almost like, if you guys fucked up marijuana like this much, I'm like, I don't know what like.
Yeah,
Come
well,
on.
the people who are now leaping into the psychedelic industry that's about or going to emerge, it'll be the same crap. People trying to make money right away because it's brand new. Well, maybe we'll make a bunch of money.
Maybe.
So yeah, I don't know. I try not to decide. I just follow what small regulations get in my way. But still, they're shutting the world down here. Not too
Yeah,
much
I'll have to get
activity.
mushrooms over here then and do a little research, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now they're introducing the miracle vaccine. People are fucking stupid. I don't know, stupid. People are very influenced by what they're told to do here and influenced by how they're being told to do it, and what to believe and what to think in a lot of respects. So now the vaccine to end all of our woes is becoming available.
Just be like a superhuman. Fuck. Come on.
Well, people are now going, oh my God, thank God this has come here. And you go, well, like, really, you're not thinking about this at all in any way. Just that they told you that this is the danger, and they told you this is the remedy. They told you a lot of things too throughout all this that didn't necessarily pan out for them in the way of right. So interesting. Bill Gates is involved. Who the fuck goes to a computer nerd to do anything about my health just because he's rich? Is that it? Only? The fuck do I care about Bill Gates and what he has to say about it? He's a fucking computer idiot. So I don't get why he's even involved, or his opinion is regarded, really, in the whole scenario.
His richness.
Yeah, that's it. He's just so fucking rich.
Like his richer, like his riches became like you know, later on in his life, even, you know, like, yeah, he started his company and all that. I don't think he was actually born into money or whatever, but I want to know at like which point did he realize, or they come to him, were like, hey, we got this shit going on that no one else really knows about here, and you're going to be one of the richest guys in the world, so you might as well know about it. And it's like,
yeah. Yeah, interesting how they get hooked into this business, if it is in fact some sort of business. But I don't know. Here's a guy who was saying that there's too many people on the planet here that you have to slow down, and now he's come up with a vaccine to save us all. What? Shut the fuck up, Bill Gates. How about that? I don't care. Why does anyone care what you have to say? It's insane. You might as well listen to fucking Donald Trump.
your mouth is a gate. Shut it.
So, you know, even it should not be going on if it is. But who knows? You don't even know. I don't know Bill Gates. Have no clue where he is at this very moment, doing whatever it is he's doing, pretending to be in this photo for some fake fucking thing they're up to. Because their computer guy's playing a video game with us all. So you don't know what the fuck is going on, really. So I don't bother trying to figure it out. No point. Or having an opinion about it, really. I'd rather it not be this way. So
I'd rather go back to tracking old Nessie, you know, back in Loch Ness.
I don't know. So I can only go along with what I'm told, and I have to go along with it. I have no choice. So you gotta go along with it if you want to go outside. So you do. But it's the closures of many places that I don't know. I don't get that. Makes no sense to allow that to continue. So we'll have to see. For now, I'm pretty good with smoking weed. And I hope everybody has a happy and healthy Christmas. Probably won't see you between now and then. I think Anil's out of town after this, I think.
Skipping out, eh? It's good.
Yeah. Probably going to some sort of winter. Not the 9 degrees we're used to.
Oh,
But this too will pass. And I don't know, Christmas or whatever, that would be the time to break the rules for sure. But not too much, I don't know. It's too stupid. See, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't with this scenario. I don't like that part of it either. All right. Some would argue that they're not seeing any results of lockdowns or mask wearing or reduction in the number of cases. And others would counter that by saying, but perhaps the numbers would be higher without it. So you go, well, that's an empty statement. Perhaps the numbers would be lower. Why couldn't you just say that? Simply. So, like, you can't, an argument against wearing masks or places being shut down and self-distanced and all this other stuff. There's, what do I know? I don't have a choice. So,
well, you do. Then sometimes you just can't go some places.
Life is, I don't know, it hasn't necessarily changed for me that much, but for the rest of the world and those businesses that would like to survive it. So I don't know if the health officials are just wishing to err on the side of caution, as they always would want to do, right? They don't want to be held responsible for any of this. And they've been schooled by lawyers and shit what their position is going to be. Lawyers and insurance companies, probably. This is what your position has to be.
Yeah, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't do this, or else it shows that you're in favor of all this. They're just like,
we'll have to see that they just keep throwing hints at you that it's going to go on for a very long time, which is fucked. Don't want this to go on too much longer. No need for it, in my view. But it can't go on for months and months like they're talking. They're talking sometime through the summer, for fuck's sakes, for shit.
yeah, April or whatever.
So, I don't know.
I'm just like, you better be giving everyone a lot more money then. Like, come on now.
Well, yeah, not too much of that available, except for everybody else. But, fucking government. But I still hope that each and every one of you viewing today and in the days ahead do have a good Christmas. And that you can get together with as many of your friends and family as possible, wherever you are, and smoke some good weed. So you're going to be hanging out in Sudbury?
Yeah, gonna do the holidays here. Have the snowy, real Christmas.
Yeah. Well, true enough, right? Oh, yeah. Well, it's not the end of the fucking world here. Really.
That's right. There's gonna be a lot more of these.
Yeah.
Every year there's one.
Every year. Next year you go, oh, this is better. This is back to the way it was. And then the year after that you go, yeah, and then you won't fucking remember it.
Year after that, I'll be like, I wish it was like that COVID year when we didn't have to go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah, didn't have to have people over. Didn't have to do all these things that we all bitch about at Christmas time having to do. So maybe stuff will get whittled down a little bit here in the world to something more normal and sane.
We'll keep some and make some tradition, and after it's tradition, you can't fuck with tradition. So,
Yeah. So, sorry, Jesus, we're not going to celebrate your birthday this year. Sorry about that. No one's thinking about poor Jesus.
although this year, if you're looking up in the sky, there's supposed to be one of those Jesus type stars going on right around Christmas.
Yes. The biblical star, they're calling it. I think.
They are calling it that, yeah. It has like I think the space people would call it something else, but the space people were like, I think it's called that bright ass star. But yeah, keep your heads up looking for that. I want to see a lot of this year.
Might as well look up. So yeah, thanks to Mr. Cookie for joining in today.
Always a fun time. Always a fun time.
And the people in the chat and Chattery. And thanks to everybody who will eventually watch this. Thanks to Anil for hacking it all together. Yeah, we hacked into some military site in Utah. Pull this all up.
Secret broadcasting from Area 50 and a half or something.
Area 420. So yeah, I don't know how cannabis is going to survive it all. It certainly is a thing that we would be quite inclined to pass to somebody else's mouth. Part of the tradition seemingly would now to be probably lost. And coughing, a lot of coughing goes on with cannabis.
Coughing's not smiled upon days.
No. So we're going to have to overcome this somehow. I don't know. I don't mind having my own joint. Doesn't matter really.
Well, I'd rather my own joint most times. So
Quite
I expect
often.
anybody in the summertime when we're allowed to socially distance from one another, and I cut the joint in half and gave him half, and I had half, so we each had half too.
There you go. Yeah, and you don't spend all that time passing them back and forth.
That either, yeah, and you can smoke it at your own rate and own heat. and I let the dog lick the joint, so then it was like just being licked by a dog, like, you know, that's fine.
Well, it is fine. All right. Well, until we meet again, probably in the new year. I'm Marijuana Man. This is From Under the Influence. We'll see you next time. Peace on earth and pot.